Hello everyone, I'm Paul and welcome to Gentleman Outdoors. Today I've got some new bolt-on hooks. I've got 3 hooks. They're 3H forged steel, grade 70, and they have a 1/4 inch back plate and a 1/4 inch plate on with the hook. So today what I'm going to do is just do the install. So let's get it done. So far what I've done is I've marked where I want to put my hooks. So I want to put them right about here, just about a half a foot, a little bit over a half a foot inside. I don't want them right on the end of the buckets, because if you put your chain and you're going to pull a little bit or something, it will twist the bucket too much. So I've got one here on this side, one on the far side, and then I'm going to put one in the center. First thing I'm going to do is, I mentioned I marked everything already. I'm going to drill the holes. I'm not sure how hard the steel here is, but I've got a good drill bit to do all that. I'm not too concerned if the steel's too hard. I've got the right drill bits to go through anything that I have. So the very first thing I'm going to do is just going to get my drill bit set here, and then I'm going to punch the steel. So I'm just going to make punch marks so that the drill bit can start a little bit easier. Two holes for every bolt, for every hook. Now I'm just going to use a little bit of lubricant. What I use is just a little bit of WD-40. So I'm just going to pre-spray it. There's a little bit of lubricant there. And I'm going to try and somewhat slowly drill the holes. Now I'm not pressing too hard, letting the drill bit do a lot of the work. You can see my chuck's not quite tight enough. Gotta put a little bit more torque for it. These are my pilot holes to start with, and then I'll make the bigger hole. They're 1/2 inch holes that I need to make. So you can see it takes a little bit of time to drill the holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the holes drilled, and we'll be right back. I've got all the holes drilled. Just going to wipe up the shavings into the bucket here. A little. Now one thing to note is what I did is I used a carbide bit to get started for my pilot hole, and then I used a good quality hard steel bit. The steel on the bucket is pretty hard, so you definitely want to have some good drill bits, and sharp ones at that. It probably took me about 8 to 10 minutes to get all the holes done. Not too bad. There's 6 holes. One thing I want to mention as well is that if you do decide to get bucket hooks that are bolt-on, make sure that it has a back plate. The bucket steel alone, it's not probably strong enough if you plan to pull or do anything with it. My intention is not really to pull with this, but actually to tie things to the bucket. So I don't really have to worry too much about that, but I still have the plate on the back, which makes me a little bit more comfortable. The bolts that came with it are grade 10.9, so good steel bolts. And we've got a 1/2 inch hole, so all I have to do now is just to put the bolts in and then fasten them up. So let's get that done. I am going to use a little bit of Loctite, and I'm going to use red Loctite. Now the reason why I went with bolt-on hooks rather than weld-on hooks, the bolt-on hooks are a little bit more expensive. You could just buy the hook and weld it on, but the reason why I did it this way is because if I ever want to change my bucket, I can take the hooks off and reuse them. If you weld them on, well then you can cut them off, but it won't be much good after that. And you can also weld these as well if you want to make them extra strong, but the bolts are adequate. And I do recommend that you get three hooks rather than two, or sorry, two, like one on each end or just one for the center. If you get three, you'll be able to do a lot more with it rather than just having one or having two. So let's get the third one here. Got a little bit of Loctite, as I mentioned. I'll put the Loctite only on the nut itself. I don't need to put it up high on the bolt. That's if I can get some of it out of this tube here. Oh, I forgot about the back plate. Gotta put the back plate on first. I'll bring you in closer on the next back plate. You can see what I'm doing. A little bit of Loctite on this one as well. Once these goes on, I don't really want to take them off unless I absolutely have to. So if you ever want to take them off because I put the Loctite on, you can just use an air compressor and a impact gun, and that should be good enough to get them off. So I've already put all, you can see here, I've put the red gel, got lots of Loctite, so when I spin them on, they'll stay on there. There is a lot of vibration from the tractor, so you want to make sure that they stay. You don't want to be finding that the bolt is loose because the nut fell off. I'll bring you in closer to see the other one underneath. Alright guys, so that's basically, they're on loose. I'll just have to tighten them up with the couple ratchets. Let's get that done. So the bottom is 18 millimeters, and the top, the bottom for the nut, that is 18 millimeters, and the top is 15 millimeters. So just tighten these up, and that's the last thing that has to be done. Put them snug to start. Alright, tighten them right up. You can torque them up pretty good since they're 10.9 grade. Some people say you can't break them. I'll tell you right now, you can break them. I've done it many times. The very first time I was told had a 10.9 grade bolt. I was working for this guy. He says, oh, just tighten it as tight as you want. He says, you're never going to break it. 10 seconds later, snap. He was amazed that I broke it. So he thought maybe there was something wrong with the bolt, and I said, well, I can always try on another one. And I tried another one, it was the same thing. Like I say, it's a good quality grain, and it takes a lot of torque, but anything can break. Got my wrench stuck under there a little bit. There we go. All right, guys, there we go. We got 3 new bucket hooks on here. I will put them to good use. I've been hooking here on the back in the interim, but I've got the bucket hooks on there now, so that's a good thing. So anyways, guys, that'll be it for the video. I really appreciate you watching, and if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed to my channel already, please do so by hitting that subscribe button down below, and we'll see you next time on Gelling Outdoors.